श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनउँ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवारी सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई संभाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कभी कोबिद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपथ दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मैली मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज सगत जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सभारो आपे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरहि हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो 7 बार पाठ करे कोई, छूट ही बद्दी महा सुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होए सिद्ध साकी गौरी सा। तुलसीदास सदा चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा। कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवतरय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। संकट मोचन हनुमान अष्टकम। बाल सबे रवि भक्ष लियो, तब तीनों लोक भयो अधियारो। ताहि सो त्रास भयो जग को, यह संकट काहू सो जात न टारो। देवन आदि करि बिनती, देवन आदि करि बिनती, तब छाड़ दियो रवि कष्ट निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बाली की त्रास कपिस बसे, बाली की त्रास कपिस बसे। गिरि जात महाप्रभु पत निहारो। चौकी महामुनि शाप दियो, तब चाहिए कौन विचार विचारो। चौकी महामुनि शाप दियो, तब चाहिए कौन विचार विचारो। क्वैद्य रूप लेवाय महाप्रभु, क्वैद्य रूप लेवाय महाप्रभु। सौतव दास के शोक निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। अंगद के सगले न गए, अंगद के सगले न गए। सिय खोज कपिस ये बैरी उचारो। जीविती न बचियो हम सो, जो बिना सुधि लाए इया पगुधारो। जीविती न बचियो हम सो, जो बिना सुधि लाए इहा पगुधारो। हेरी के तट सिद्धू सभे तब, हेरी के तट सिद्धू सभे तब। लाए सिया सुधि प्राण उभारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। रावण त्रास दहि सिय को, रावण त्रास दहि सिय को। सब राक्षसी सो कहे शोक निवारो। ताहि सबे हनुमान महाप्रभु, जाए महाराज निचर मारो। ताहि सबे हनुमान महाप्रभु, जाए महाराज निचर मारो। चाहत सिय अशोक सुहागी, चाहत सिय अशोक सुहागी। सुदे प्रभु मुद्रिका शोक निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बाण लग्यो उर लक्ष्मण के, बाण लग्यो उर लक्ष्मण के। तब प्राण तजे सुत रावण मारो। ले गृह भेद सुषेण समेत, तबे गिरि द्रोण सुबीर उपारो। ले गृह भेद सुषेण समेत, तबे गिरि द्रोण सुबीर उपारो। आदि सजीवन हाथ दही तब, आदि सजीवन हाथ दही तब। लक्ष्मण के तुम प्राण उबारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। रावण युद्ध अजान कियो, रावण युद्ध अजान कियो, तब नाग की फांस सबे सिर डारो। श्री रघुनाथ समेत सबे दल, मोह भयो यह संकट भारो। श्री रघुनाथ समेत सबे दल, मोह भयो यह संकट भारो। आदि खगेश तबे हनुमान, आदि खगेश तबे हनुमान, जो बंधन काटी सूत्रास निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बंधु समेत जबे अहि रावण, बधु समेत जबे अहि रावण, ले रघुनाथ पाताल सिधारो। देवी ही पूजी भली विधि सो, बलि देहु सबे मिली मंत्र विचारो। देवी ही पूजी भली विधि सो, बलि देहु सबे मिली मंत्र विचारो। जाय सहाय भयो तब ही, जाय सहाय भयो तब ही, अहि रावण सैन्य समेत संहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। काज किए बड़ देवन के, काज किए बड़ देवन के, तुम वीर महाप्रभु देखी विचारो। कौन सो संकट मोर गरीब को, जो तुम सो नहीं जात है टारो। कौन सो संकट मोर गरीब को, जो तुम सो नहीं जात है टारो। बेगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु, बेगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु, जो कछु संकट होए हमारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में, कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो, संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। लाल देह लालिल से, अरुधरि लाल लगूर, वज्र देह दानव दलन। जय 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 कपिसूर, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राम, जय श्री हनुमान। Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we are at the 38th, 39th and 37th verse, right? We are giving a combined, actually we are having a combined discussion. So we have combined all the three verses and we are trying to understand the deeper meaning. The superficial meaning or the gross meaning we had understood and we had moved towards the deeper meaning. It's very beautiful. Wherever we look at Geeta, we have to understand it from a very subtle point of view. In this universe, there is this universe, right? And there are multiverses. It's not only one universe that exists, isn't it? At this multiverses, like there are multiple universes, there are multiple Brahmans, there are multiple Brahmajis. It is not only our universe and not only our earth, there are multiple. So, but each bigger entity is a replica or a smaller entity. Like the multi-universes are floating in the causal ocean, right? Multiple universes are floating in the causal ocean. And then we'll take one universe, probably our universe, right? In our universe also, there is an ocean called the Garbhodakshaya ocean. And then let's take our earth. In our earth also there is an ocean, right? And now on our earth there is us. We are also around 70% water. And if we go deeper and start going cell by cell, it is nothing but what we are, isn't it? So if we start expanding, it is the replica of the smaller. If we start going to the smaller and descending, again it is a replica. So जो बाहर हो रहा है वो अंदर भी हो रहा है. जैसा बाहर हो रहा है वैसा अंदर भी हो रहा है. The irony is we get so focused on what is outside, we forget the universe which exists within us. So over here, superficially, Arjun is simply trying to tell him that these are my swajan, these are my relatives. That is why I cannot kill them. They are my friends, that is why I cannot harm them. Had they been somebody else, it would have been a different story. Point 1. Point 2. They are blinded by what? Greed of the Singhasan and land. They want Hastinapur, they want the Rajya, they want the riches. So they are blinded by that greed. Hence they cannot see the destruction that will be caused in the future. They say, pure ke pure kul, the entire clan will be destroyed and the entire clan will get erased. So they are unable to see the demise of an entire clan. They are unable to see that they would be harming their own relatives and friends. However, Sri Krishna, Arjun says in verse number 39, I can see. We are not blinded, right? They are blind. We are not blind. Our vision is very clear. We can see what is going to unfold, and hence this battle should not be fought, and we should give a thought and stop this battle right this minute. Fair enough. At the onset, it all looks logical, isn't it? But when we delve deeper, we realized that though the Kauravas were blinded by greed, anger, what was Arjun blinded by? He was blinded by attachment, moha, delusion. Second, Arjun lost focus of the purpose. It was a dharma from their behalf. It was never a fight for land and money. Right? So when they were blinded by greed and anger, so was Arjun blinded by false notions and attachments. Now we might say that I think Arjun is right. He was compassionate. So it is okay, right? It is nice to be loving and compassionate. It is nice to be forgiving. Well, yes, it is nice. Again, at a superficial level. Attachment is never good. Love is good. We have learned it so far. Compassion is good. But don't you think Arjun here has a misplaced compassion? Many a times we have misplaced compassions. Now what is a misplaced compassion? Here. Being compassionate is very, very nice. But when to be compassionate is also important, right? You cannot just be compassionate in any situation. Over here he's saying the clans would be destroyed. He is compassionate. He cares about the clans in the future. However, would adharm take charge and dharma be destroyed? Shouldn't he be compassionate towards dharma? As it is, everything is going to be destroyed. So he has a misplaced compassion for the clans, but the compassion for his dharma, establishment of dharma and eradication of adharma is not there. So it is misplaced compassion. An attachment, if these are his people, he is not willing to fight. Had they been somebody else, the thing would have been different. Right? So again, attachment is not right. We have discussed it in great depth. However, I'm just repeating it because I feel repetition helps. So, to take an example over here, we'll take an example of rag and dvesh. What is rag? And what is dvesh? Dvesh is anger, jealousy, hatred. Rag is attachment, right? मुझे बहुत राग है. For me, I am a person who really cares for people. I'll go out of my way for people. I can do anything for the people of my family. That is rag. What is dvesh? I hate, I shout, I dislike, I am jealous. That is dvesh. Is rag good? You will say rag is good. Is dvesh bad? Evidently, it is even a child can say that dvesh is bad and rag is good. But is that so? Let me bring it to our notice, everybody's notice. Rag is as bad or even worse than dvesh. Why? Because when rag is there, we will not even work on removing it. Dvesh evidently will start working on removing anger, hatred, jealousy, because they are the so-called negatives in our society. But rag, compassion, attachment, extreme love is considered good in our society, so no work will be done to eradicate it. That is the entire problem over here. Why should we eradicate rag? Agreed, eradicating the negative, understood. Why eradicate the positive? But is it positive? Ati sarvatra varjate. Ati of anything is wrong. That which causes you to become blind. That's why we always say passion, which is so widely used nowadays, I'm passionate about things, is a wrong approach. A child, a student, a seeker, an aspirant should never be passionate. You have to be indiscriminate. You have to be discriminate. You have to see, you have to judge, and then you have to walk forward. ये अंधी धुन जो होती है ना, blind desire, blind passion is never good. Our scriptures never talk about blind passion. So we have to be very careful not to use the word passion, not to work passionately. We'll say that if we don't work passionately, our work would suffer. Of course not. Passion, being passionate causes more harm than good. Because there are a lot of trade-offs in life. We end up harming one side to elevate in the other side. Whereas a discriminate mind who is thinking with Vivek, yes, would not harm anything yet excel. What is better than excelling will happen there also. Excelling is happening here also. But over there, it is not a trade-off. Nothing else is being harmed. Over here, everything else is being ruthlessly destroyed to move forward. That is the difference between passion and discriminate thinking. So over here, Arjun is again, he is saying, yes, ego is bad, greed is bad, everything is bad. They are blind, I am not blind, because he considered that extreme rag, right, as a good quality. Is it? The question is it? It is not. Any form of attachment makes us overlook the negatives in that individual. Makes us stop from, we become very biased in our approach and our vision. When we extremely love, कहते हैं ना, अद्धा, प्यार अद्धा होता है. Yes, in a way it is blind. But it is not प्यार they are talking about. Attachment अद्धा होता है. Because then you can't see the flaws. And when you can't see the flaws, you are unable to help the other person elevate and correct themselves. So again, we are saying, if they are blinded, so is Arjun. If dvesh is bad, rag is worst. Rag is worse. So, yes, Why? Because dvesh we will consciously try to eliminate. But rag we will nurture because we'll say it is good. What do we have to ultimately become? Balanced. We talk a lot about balancing our spiritual and our material world, but we never talk about balancing this element in ourselves. It is never a balance outside, it is a balance within that we talk about. And that is what is mistaken. When the spiritual gurus say, strike a balance, we think we have to strike a balance between spiritual and material. There cannot be any balance. You have to build a spiritual base and build your material world above it. There is no if or but. But yes, within yourself, strike a balance, become sum, become sthit. And when you become sthit, when there is no rag and no dvesh, right? There is no blinding of any kind. So over here, we have to understand that Arjun does not know that he is also blind because of attachment, and so are all of us. We are all blind. We are all biased. None of our decisions are unbiased. We are all conditioned, biased souls. Yeah? We are an outcome of our upbringing. We are an outcome of our samskars. We are an outcome of our conditioning. So we are also blind. It might look good and it might be accepted in the society as good, but let me tell you, there is no good and bad. We have to move beyond good and bad. There are three qualities, isn't it? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And then there is this Gunati Tavastha. Rajas and Tamas, definitely. Tamasic tendencies, yeah. Tamasic to khatam hi kar diya hame. Rajasic bhi is not that bad, but of course it is not a good quality. But if somebody is sattvic in his nature, suppose, right? Tamasic is when you get angry and you always want to let other people down. You're shouting, you just wish bad for other people. That's tamasic in nature. Rajasic is where you don't care whether the other person is losing or not, but you want to become the best. You want to have everything in this world. You're not snatching it away from somebody like a tamasic person would do, but you want everything for yourself. मेरे पास ये भी होना चाहिए, मेरे पास वो भी होना चाहिए. I should excel, I should live like a king. See, tamasic person is consciously snatching things from another person and letting other people fall. The only difference between a tamasic and a rajasic person is a rajasic person is not consciously causing harm. His intention is not to cause harm, but in the process of benefiting himself beyond a limit, right? मुझे ये भी चाहिए, बंगला, गाड़ी, ये, वो. See, resources in this world are limited. We have to keep this in mind. We don't have unlimited resources. We have limited resources. The minute we hoard, the minute we take too much and we don't give that much, we are taking the resources away from somebody else. So a rajasic person unknowingly is doing a tamasic deed only. But over here, he is called rajasic because he is not intentionally harming anybody. We are giving him the benefit of doubt and we are saying ignorance is bliss, usko pata hi nahi hai, to chalo theek hai. And what is sattvic? Sattvic person is where the person is conducting and always giving charity, helping other people, is compassionate, is loving, will stand up and run to do whatever needed. His desires are very sattvic. The desire could be desire to do good, the desire to sacrifice further, the desire to serve, the desire to reach God. Now, if I ask you what tendencies should we leave and what tendencies should be gained, we will say that tamasic first, second rajasic tendencies should be eliminated. However, sattvic tendencies are a keeper. Isn't it? This is what is happening here. But if I may tell you that even sattvic tendencies are not a keeper. रजस एंड तमस तो हमें खत्म करना ही है. ये जो सत्व है ना, it holds us down more than rajas and tamas does because we never take it as a no in our life. We consider, and what we do, we want to increase our sattva. बहुत अच्छी बात है. Again, to eliminate rajas and tamas, this is a beautiful example. Let's take this example. Suppose you are walking around and without shoes, and a thorn pierces your heels, your foot. And you're limping and you come back home. What would you do? To remove the thorn, you will need something, right? It has gone in and you want to remove the thorn. So you'll take a needle. Normally, isn't it? Because you can't pull it out. You need a sharp thing to go in and remove the thorn. So you take a needle and you remove the thorn. And now that the thorn has been removed, what will you do with the needle? The needle would be put away back in its box. Or would you attach the needle to yourself, take a sellotape and put it on your cheeks, or tag it to your clothes so that everybody can see and say, this is the needle which took out the thorn from my foot. Hence, I'll never part with it. I'll always hold it. I'll stick it to myself. People will start calling you insane, and it's an insane activity. When the job of the needle is done, it has to go back into its box. Full stop. Same way, the thorn are the rajasic and the tamasic tendencies. The needle is a sattvic tendency. To remove the rajas and the tamas, we use the sattvic needle. And once the thorn of rajas and tamas has been removed, the sattvic needle also has to be let go and put back into its box. We cannot hold on to it, because then it will stop us from moving to the ultimate avastha, that is the gunatit avastha. So what we consider as compassion, attachment, all these things have to be let go. Yes, initially love, compassion, emotion, till the rajasic and tamasic tendencies are gone. And after that, the ultimate goal is to become free from rajas, tamas and sattva. Why? Because that is our true characteristic. That Purusha, that divine, is not entangled or expresses in rajas, tamas and sattva. He is. And for us, till we have any of it, rajas, tamas or sattva in us, we are not one with the divine. We can't think like the divine then. Krishna has written this Geeta. Many have talked about it. They talk about it beautifully. Many have interpreted it, right? There is no right or wrong interpretation of the Geeta. But has anybody actually understood what Sri Krishna is trying to say? Geeta to Sri Krishna ne hi gayi hai na. So has anybody ever been able to understand Geeta as what Krishna is saying? As what Krishna is trying to explain? How is that possible? For us to understand Geeta from Sri Krishna's perspective, not from anybody else's or not from our perspective, from Sri Krishna's perspective, what do we have to do? We have to become like Krishna. And to become like Krishna, we have to reach that gunatit avastha. What is that gunatit avastha? Where there is no rajas, sattva and tamas. There is no desire for even good left. We just are. Shri Krishna just is. Over here, Arjun is saying, ye sahi hai, ye galat hai. Ye mere hai, ye paraye hai. Right? That is ego, this is attachment, this is okay, that is not. Shri Krishna is not reacting. Because for him, there is no good or bad. There just is. There is no evil, no pious person. Situation है भाई, सब अपना अपना रोल अदा कर रहे हैं और श्री कृष्ण उस स्थिति में है. And in that स्थिति he has given the discourse of Geeta. For us to understand Geeta as it was told by Shri Krishna, we have to reach his level. Basically, the first, second, third time when we are narrating or interpreting or listening or understanding the Gita, we won't be able to reach his level. Let's keep it in mind. The greatest of sages, they say, कितनी बार का आपने ग्रंथ पढ़ा है? And if you tell them कि अभी शुरू ही करा है, या even if you tell them I have read it 5 times, they'll say, oh, you have not even started yet. They say till you have been able to analyze it and go through it 20 times, your journey has not even begun. You have not even begun understanding it. So let's not be full of ourselves कि हमें सब समझ आ गया है, कुछ समझ नहीं आया है. गीता समझने के लिए हमें पहले कृष्ण बनना पड़ेगा. And if you believe कि you cannot become Krishna, you cannot understand Shri Krishna's Gita. जिस दिन आप कृष्ण बने, उस दिन this Gita is going to speak through you. So अभी कृष्ण चुप है, because Arjun is still too full of himself. When you are able to say that that person is wrong and blind, I am okay, बस खत्म हो गई बात. That is ego. When you say I am good and that is bad, that is ego. And mind you, there are 2 forms of ego, bad ego and good ego. Bad ego is not as harmful as a good ego, because bad ego can be eliminated and everybody is going to work towards eliminating it. Good ego will be thought to be as a keeper. We have to get rid of good or bad ego. What is ego? Ego is the I. And I, that I कि मैं हूँ, has to go away. अगर आप है तो हरि नहीं, और जब हरि है तो आप नहीं. When Shri Krishna is there, you are not there. And when you are there, Shri Krishna is not there. And अगर गीता समझनी है तो I will have to go. And Shri Krishna will have to come. अर्जुन पे अभी भी श्री कृष्ण पूरी तरह से नहीं आ पाए. Arjun is still not empty. And now when we went inside, what did we see? We see the battle is between our good tendencies and our bad tendencies. We are fighting the battle between good and bad, right? Over here we are saying the bad tendencies are blind, the good tendencies are okay. But the fact of the matter is, no tendency has to remain. Now good, now bad. We have to reach a state where there is no good or there is no bad, we just are. Arjun is saying, let the good and bad tendencies operate together. Why should I destroy the Kauravas? They are my swajan. Or even my bad tendencies are coming from my own mind, right? They are an offspring or a child of my own mind. So they are brothers. The good tendencies and the bad tendencies are brothers. They are siblings because they are coming from the same mind. The same mind is giving birth to the bad and the good tendencies. So they are siblings. So we should operate in harmony. राइट भाइयों को तो आपस में प्रेम से ही रहना चाहिए ना. दैट इज व्हाट अर्जुन इज सेइंग. सो लेट माय गुड टेंडेंसीज आल्सो बी देयर, लेट माय बैड टेंडेंसीज आल्सो बी देयर. I will spend 50% of my income in serving others, and I will enjoy with 50% of the income. What is so wrong in that? If I am fulfilling my wants and helping others also, what is wrong in that? And most people will say there is nothing wrong in that. But the minute it is a want, it is already wrong. Anything beyond a need, when it becomes a want, it is a big no-no as per the Shastra. आपको मानना है तो मानिए, नहीं मानना तो मत मानिए. So good and bad tendencies cannot operate together. Right? But Arjun says कि मेरे अच्छे विचार और बुरे विचारों को साथ में रहने दीजिए ना, in harmony. What is the problem? A little sense gratification does not hurt, right? It does not hurt. But just imagine, if it depends on what you want actually. आपको चाहिए क्या ultimately life से? Let's take an example of a Olympic swimmer and a weekend swimmer. ठीक है? भाई एक है जो leisurely swim करना चाहता है, तो what would that person do? ठीक है, on a Sunday, it is a holiday, I will relax by the pool, 2-3 चक्कर लगा लिए pool में, and that is about it. But now there is a professional swimmer, right? He wants to get into the Olympics. The approach of both these swimmers will be different, right? Now, this Olympic swimmer is not a weekend swimmer, right? So, what will this Olympic swimmer do? He will control his diet, right? Manage his sleep. Make sure the intake is proper. Not consume any form of junk which reduces the speed of his swimming. And training, morning, evening, this poor swimmer is going to train 2 hours, 2 hours. And not only this, again, supporting exercise will be done to strengthen those particular muscles which are needed in swimming. Now, this normal weekend swimmer is going to swim in a normal swimming trunk, which might fit, which might not fit. But this professional swimmer will need special skins, will need special cap, will need a special goggle, because every second matters. This normal weekend swimmer would not bother if he has hair on his body. He's not going to shave his hair just to enter the pool. But this Olympic swimmer, this aspiring Olympic professional swimmer, is going to make sure there is no hair in his body, because even a slightest bit of hair could create that friction and could reduce the speed. Right? And again, this one won't care about so many things, but this one will care about when he's sleeping and when he's getting up also. Now, both are swimmers, but this one is a weekend swimmer, a leisure swimmer. This one is a professional swimmer, an aspiring Olympic swimmer. His life, the weekend swimmer's life, does not rotate around swimming. But this aspiring Olympic swimmer's life rotates around his sport. A second here and a second there breaks him. One wrong stroke, one wrong dive. That's it. It's the end. But over here, he would not mind. कैसे dive करा, कैसे stroke करा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है for a weekend swimmer? Now you have to decide. Are you a weekend swimmer when it comes to spirituality? When it comes to God realization, self-realization? Or you are this aspiring Olympic swimmer for whom there is nothing more important than his sport? For this weekend swimmer, junk is okay. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? खाओ पियो मस्त रहो. But for this Olympic swimmer, one muffin in and 1 second off. Spirituality भी ऐसी है. It depends on how you walk the path. How important the Lord is to you. How important self-realization is to you. How important God realization is to you. How important knowing Krishna is to you. How important God, Krishna, how important these things are. And that is going to determine, can you work with good thoughts and bad thoughts together? Sochiya. And then he goes on to say one more thing. Arjun, over here, many of us feel that we have eradicated our negative tendencies, so we can just be at ease, right? The minute this thought comes now, all my negative is gone and I am all full sattva and good. First thing to hona bhi nahi chahiye. You have to approach in a gunatit avastha. But when this thought comes, you become lax. Okay? Lax ho gaya. Assume that this swimmer feels, Olympic swimmer, feels that he's reached his goal. He is almost, he's the best of the best, and he decides to take it a little easy. ठीक है ना? 5 घंटा ट्रेनिंग कर रहे दिन में, तो उसको 4 कर देते. I have already reached the goal. I am the top. I am at the league. What will happen? One slip, one loss of training, and the gold medal goes. because somebody else is going to overtake. यहाँ पे in ourselves somebody else is nothing but our tendencies. If we stop the vigilance, the negative tendencies are going to go back. Of course it will. Suppose, let's take example of an alcoholic, an addict. And this alcoholic, after going through all the treatment and the rehabilitations and everything, is rid of alcohols. Like, he does not get tempted. He has been clean for around 2-3 years now. Okay? No drinking, nothing. The habit is gone. One day, he is entertaining a friend who cannot do without wine. Wine is not even alcohol, right? Wine, we'll say wine to grape juice. कोई बात नहीं, जिसको जो आपको बोलना है बोले. So he's entertaining this, and now this alcoholic knows that he is clean. It has been 2-3 years, all the follow-ups, everything has stopped, and he's in place. So he told his help that cellar of wine which we have locked and has been locked for a couple of years need to be opened. When my friend comes, make sure the best possible wine is served. The helper says, okay sir, I'll do it. So he goes, he opens the cellar, he removes the bottle of wine. And then this man says, any which ways, I have full control over my habit. I am not an alcoholic anymore. I am clean now. It has been years. Listen, you don't have to guard the bottle. You can keep the bottle in my living room and go. Let it be here. वैसे भी, I'm not going to get tempted to drink. The helper says, are you sure, sir? He says, yes, don't worry, just leave it. So he left the beautiful bottles of wine on the dining table. Okay. Now this person looks at those bottles and he says, wow, amazing. And he says, I have almost forgotten the smell of wine. It used to be his favorite brand and drink. So he opens it and he smells it. What harm would a smell do? I can of course smell it. I am, again, clean, not an alcoholic anymore. It has been years now. And he smells it and he keeps it away. The next day he says, a sip won't do any harm, right? A sip won't do any harm. So he pours it in a glass and sits down and takes a sip. Old memories rush back. And soon enough, as days go by, the sip becomes a glass and a glass becomes a bottle. And he is back to being an alcoholic. What went wrong? What mistake did he make? He let down his guard. See, spirituality, material world, whatever activity you want to do, you want to excel in, if we let down our guard, finish. So, when we feel that we have reached, when we feel that the negativity is not in us, when we feel that both can operate together, it is a wrong approach. The negative and the positive, firstly, cannot operate together in us. The negative tendencies have to go, and the positive also eventually have to go. Why? Because when we feel that we have overcome the negative, the effort was ours, right? This is again a very important point. मैंने मेहनत करी, मैंने अपनी वासनाएं, मैंने अपनी वाइसेस खत्म करी, बहुत कोशिश की, बहुत एफर्ट डाला. So there is a good ego. There's an ego. I accomplished. Now see, I am all good. Second is, पता ही नहीं चला कैसे हो गया. I have not put in any effort. I don't know what happened to me. It is not me, it is all God. That is no ego. Right? And again, the person, Arjun ने कितनी तप करा था ना? He was a tapasvi. All the effort for controlling his nidra, controlling pavan, controlling veg, controlling everything. There was ego. कि I have accomplished it. प्रभु ने करवाया. अरे हमारी औकात क्या है जी? हमारी इच्छा से तो एक पत्ता भी हम नहीं हिला सकते. So whatever accomplishments come our way are all God's grace, nothing else. And then when we feel that we have already accomplished, all our negativities have vanished, and we let go of our guard, right? What happens? All those negative tendencies come back with vengeance. So first point is, negative and positive tendencies cannot be in the same mind. It is not possible. Only one has to be there. Negative has to go to make room for positive, and the positive also has to go if we want to reach the Gunatit Avastha. They all cannot exist together. They should not exist together. And even when you feel that the negative is gone and only positive remains, be very vigilant. Because kahi na kahi, the seed is still there. Because the land is not barren yet. We are only work in progress, where we have worked on removing the negative, we are nurturing the positive. The minute we feel that, okay, fine, we have done our job, right? And we just leave it, automatically the negative tendencies are going to sprout back. Why? Because we have not reached the ultimate Gunatit Avastha. You soche, Gunatit Avastha is where there is no Satya, Rajas and Tamas. Arjun has not reached that stage yet. He thinks that the negative is gone. What he thinks as the positive is good. And he has left his guard. The minute he leaves his guard, kya hoga? Just like what happened to this alcoholic. Bas, he's going to become an alcoholic again. It is a truth. Ye hota hai. So we can never let go of our vigilance. So when can we let go of our vigilance? I feel one should never let go of our vigilance. There have been great sages who have just slipped when they were about to reach. Sri M is a great sage, and this is a story I've heard. I was trying to look for the story in words, but I could not find it. But let's see. The story where he was in his previous birth, he was sitting and doing his tapasya. But suddenly some person came and he said, please, I have come from a very, very long distance. Please help me. Please give me knowledge of the Lord. They said only you would be able to help me. So please guide me. He said, no, I won't guide you. I won't help you. Don't disturb me. Go away. Some reason that person was, according to him, not eligible for the divine knowledge. ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? Who is not eligible for the divine knowledge? प्रभु की कृपा तो सबके लिए है, चाहे वो कोई भी क्यों ना हो. No जात पात, no मजहब का भेद. Everybody is eligible for the divine knowledge. That is what our scriptures say. But गलती हो गई उनसे. And when this person came, he refused. He said, but so he told this sage, he said, if you don't help me, I'm going to jump and commit suicide. I'm going to end my life because there's no meaning if you are not able to help me. You are my last hope. But out of anger, he said, go away. I'm never going to help you. And what happened? The person who had come, the seeker, he jumped off. He died. At that 1 second of anger, and he suddenly realized, oh my God, what have I done? And his guru came down. He said, you were almost there. Bas. It was just like not even a nanosecond away. Hone hi wala tha. When you left your vigilance. You gave to anger and biases, and now you will have to go back to the cycle of birth and death, and you will be born as the person you so despised and let him die. So kindly leave your body and enter the cycle of birth and death again. Now this sage was divine. What did he do? He let go of his vigilance. तो भाई बड़े बड़े साधु महात्मा फिसल जाते हैं, हम क्या चीज है? So that is why don't ape a sage, okay? We are like, we have seen many people. They find it very convenient to say, देखो जी, why we can have whatever we want, right? Because look at that guru. Our guru, he is wearing a Rolex. So that's why he's showing कि we can also have a Rolex. We have to live a balanced life. We can own whatever we want. Want. And see, that is what, no. कहा राजा भोज और कहा गग्गू तेली. यहीं पे सारी गड़बड़. Don't ever think that you can be like Krishna till you have become one. You cannot know what the Guru is. पहले उस level तक तो पहुंचो. Till we have reached that level, a what is a what, anything beyond a need is wrong. I'm sorry, you like it or not, this is what it is. And when you reach the level of that Guru, when the Guru has moved beyond the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, he is in that Guru Gunatita Avastha. He is free. He is not bound by the rules of nature. इस सृष्टि से वो परे हो चुके हैं. जब वो सब कर रहे हैं, he is not attached to anything. The rules don't apply to him anymore. But जब तक हम सृष्टि में है, जब तक हम कर्म बंधन में है, जब तक हमारे में रजस तमस और सत्व है, हमारे पर ये भारी पड़ जाएगा. This is going to have a negative outcome. This is going to cause us to be trapped in the cycle of life and death. So kindly don't try to ape a realized soul. Ape him in his prayers. Don't ape him in the so-called things which you feel our Shastras are deterring us from having. And I've seen elevated souls, not elevated, I've seen avid readers, Mahagyanis, people who have walked on the path for so long making this mistake. ये है, इसे बोलते हैं, this word which we used in the previous thing, it is false rationalization of the devotee's sense enslaved desires. It is nothing but false rationalization of the devotee's sense enslaved desires. And what was the second point that we brought across? Worldly man reasons not according to the truth, but according to his habits. And then, what is it? Danger of wanting to preserve both good and bad habit. It is very dangerous. Don't get into that. One has to go to make space for the other. And recognizing temptations lurking in the subconscious mind. Temptations are always lurking in the subconscious mind. How to make sure we don't fall into the trap of these temptations is a true challenge for anybody. For anybody who wants to accomplish a goal, not falling into temptations is the real challenge. Persistence. जो आगे बढ़ता है ना, the person who ultimately reaches where he is supposed to reach might not be very intelligent, might not have all the qualities also, but he's persistent. Let's take the example of the rabbit and the turtle. A very simple story, ना, बच्चों को सुनाते हैं हम. अरे ये बच्चों की कहानी नहीं है. The hare, the rabbit had all the qualities. Avid runner, what did he not have? He had won many races. What did the turtle have? Turtle could not even walk at the pace. His pace was so slow. It was impossible for him to win from the rabbit. But what did this turtle have that the rabbit did not have? Persistence. Determination, dedication, discipline and persistence. Determination, dedication and discipline are not enough. Till you're not persistent. You could be determined, dedicated and disciplined for a very short period of time. The person who is determined, dedicated and disciplined for a longer period of time, वो आगे निकल जाएगा. Quality, no quality. That is why we say, right? The Lord does not choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. Because the qualities to be qualified to reach a goal are different. And persistence is the most important quality. जय श्री कृष्ण, जय श्री राम, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान. So we'll just, before we end, chant the last two shlokas. यद्यपेते न पश्यति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षये कृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं कथं नयेयमस्माभिः पापदस्मान् वर्तितुं कुलक्षय कृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. ओम तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे अर्जुन विषाद योगो नाम प्रथमोऽध्यायः. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी अब जय बोलो हनुमान की. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय मेरे हनुमान की. जय मेरे हनुमान की. जय मेरे हनुमान की. बोलो बजरंगबली की जय. जय श्री राम, जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान, जय हनुमान.